Hello there! And welcome back to another video! This week I'm going to be doing another different sort of video. I'm not going to be doing that much like drawing. I don't think there's going to be like a nice final piece to see at the end of this, but I really wanted to do this video because I'm very excited about just all this stuff. So if you can see by this lovely Japanese writing and just this Pokemon bag, I've got a lot of stuff to like open and talk about. So I went to Japan at the end of June, start of July, and it's been a while since then, but I've been really busy with a bunch of stuff since I got back. But here, right in front of me, is all of the art supplies that I bought while in Japan. The first couple of things I wanted to show are these erasable Pokemon highlighters. They actually came in a pack of, I think there was 9 of them, but I went halfsies with a buddy of mine, and he ended up with like the very vibrant colors and I ended up with the pastel colors. And here's a little Japanese tidbit: when you want to say you went halvesies with someone in terms of like the price of something, splitting on cost in Japanese is betsu betsu. So they're these little pastel colors, and I was warned by another friend who I saw in Japan that you should wait for these to dry before you try to erase them because they're friction erasable. So these are my 4 little pastel erasable highlighters, and I'm just going to leave them there for a bit before I try to erase them. And then here is another Pokemon. There's a lot of Pokemon stuff, especially as you can see with the back. So it's got Pikachu, Mimikyu in it, and it's just a friction erasing pen. So this one, you don't have to wait for as long for it to dry, but it's a little pen that erases with friction. It's actually got really clean lines and they're fairly dark, so that's really cool. This bag over here, I don't think has anything that I can swatch, but this is from like a proper art store, because all these were from like Pokemon Center. I think these in specific were from the one on the Skytree. But I went to 3 Pokemon Centers and a Pokemon Cafe. My inner Pokemon trainer was just like dying. But so in here I've got this watercolor paper pad, touch 2. There was a bunch of like watercolor paper pads, but this one was like, I think it was like 500 or 600 yen. Like there was a couple that was like 1,200 or whatever, and I just wanted to get like a pad of watercolor paper just to try it out, and I ended up going for the cheapest because, guys, I spent so much money. But I'm excited to try this out in the future. And then the other thing that I have in here is this gradient screen tone, and I only got 1 screen tone because I've never used these before, because I don't really feel like this will be a part of my style, but I did want to try it out just once or something. And I think that might be it for this one bag, but don't worry, there's more. So inside my Pokemon Center bag I have a bunch of other things. So I have 2 rolls of painter's tape, and you might think, Candy, why did you bring painter's tape from Japan? And I'm like, okay, it was cheap, alright? Painter's tape here at like Michael's or Walmart is like very expensive for just like painter's tape, and this was like $1 each, and it's like good quality painter's tape, so don't at me. Then I've got this bag of goodies, this bag of goodies, and this bag of goodies, and that's it for this. In a bag I had 3 other bags. So, starting one by one, this little Ziploc bag I got at a thing, it's called a Kuji. It's basically a little lottery where you pay, this one was 650 yen, and you get a chance to win one of like any tier prize. So there's like F, E, up until A tier prize. So this was the F tier prize, and there's this little pack of Pokemon Ziplocs, and I ended up getting quite a lot of these because I wanted to get the main prize, but it's kind of useful. So inside of my little Ziploc, I've got 2 little pans of Kuretake watercolor, and I've got a set of, I think it's 48, but I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. I have a set of Kuretake watercolors, and I saw them out in the wild, and each little pan was 200 yen, and they did sell like little larger pans that had these like pearlescent ones, but because I didn't want all of the ones in a little set, and I already have like the big one that has the most of your like mats, your core mats, I decided just to get 2 little pans. So I've got this little like copper burgundy shimmery color, and then this minty aqua shimmery color. Next up I've got this whiteout. It's a Pentel whiteout thing, and it's basically like a white pen but with like whiteout ink, so it's just like, I don't know, it's very opaque, so I have hopes for it. Next up is this giant jumbo Posca pen, and I've seen Posca pens all over the place online. They come in a lot of those like scroller box, or I don't know, any like the smart art. They come in a lot of these like art supply boxes, and they're also like they're paint markers basically. And I don't know, I just always wanted to try one out. It seemed really exciting. Oh my god, this thing is giant. So I don't actually want to prime this one quite yet, but it's just white paint. I'm gonna prime the other ones that I got, the non-white ones, because I don't think there's much use trying to swatch white on white paper. But I got big jumbo white Posca pen, and then I got a couple other Posca pens. I don't know if they're in this, I think they're in this bag, yeah. I'm gonna take a break from opening this bag to go to our highlighters to friction erase. Oh, it erases like perfectly, that's so cool. Right, so here's your proof, they erase. Next up in a little Pokemon bag is this little eraser. Next up is I got these little eraser replacement because they were also on sale. I got this clear color real brush zig like brush pen thing, and I think the ink is like India ink based, like it's not water or alcohol based, but I could be mistaken. But I just thought like the brush tip seemed really interesting, and this like burgundy color I feel is something I could use a lot for X or Y. Oh, you can get super thin lines, and then they get, oh, I really like this brush. It's super like gentle. Moving on. So I got a bunch of high-tech C's, and there's more in the other bag as well. So these, I got them because they're different colors. So my regular high-tech C's are all in black. It's kind of hard to see, but they're in black. And they're all 0.25 size. So this is my regular one. And then I got a dark gray, which I don't know if the difference is going to be visible. And then I got a purple, brown, so this is going to be good for like softer line art for like skin and hair. It's kind of like a red based brown, which I also enjoy. And then I got a dark blue. I'm telling you, these things were so cheap over there. They had this like giant display of them because they're meant to be like office pens or something like that. They're meant to be like these little big fine liners, just a little bit more expensive or something. So I don't know, I'm really excited because I really like working with these pens. And then the last thing in my beautiful little Pokemon Ziploc, no, not the last, second to last thing, is this Sakura Micron Pigma Fine, and it's in a sepia and it's an F, so it's kind of like it's like a flexible plastic nib. It doesn't exactly have a size, but you can get a little bit more line weight variation out of it than most Pigma Microns. It's a little bit thick, but it's also in sepia, and I feel like I could use this quite a bit. And then the last thing I got in this little bag is this, which was so cheap. I can't tell you how cheap this was. It was so cheap, and it's just, I don't have anything to use it on right now, but it's basically if you have a little pencil that you've sharpened to bits and it's like super stubby, you stick it in here and then you tighten it, and then now you have a much longer pencil. Next up, I've got this burrito, this plastic burrito, and it's in a plastic burrito because I got it at a store called Loft, and it's not necessarily an art store, it's more like a department store, but they have this policy where if you spend more than 5,000 yen, which I did, you get to like reclaim your taxes. In Japan, they told me it was 8%. If you're there as a tourist and you've got like your passport proving that you're like a visitor, it means that you don't necessarily have to pay the sales tax. So in this place Loft, they let you, if your purchase is above 5,000 yen, you take it to a place and you get your taxes back, but you have to keep it in this like bag burrito. Like up here it says, do not open the package until you have left Japan. Please note that if you consume this product while in Japan, you may be subject to pay consumption tax. So basically, I had to keep it in the burrito, even though I was so excited about these and I really wanted to like take pictures of them and show people. And you might be thinking, how is this small amount of stuff that could fit in a little plastic burrito worth more than 5,000 yen? Well, the answer is Copics. So Copics in Japan, each Copic marker was 360 yen, and each Copic refill was also 360 yen. Now 360 yen comes out to about $4.70, something around that, I could be wrong. And I don't know what all you know about Copics in Canada, but a Copic marker in Canada, a Copic sketch at least, is from $7 to $9 depending on where you get it. So basically, I got these for almost half of what I would normally have to pay. So, cue freaking out and spending all my money. And then I also got this mechanical pencil, but I'll get to that in a bit. So for these markers, I got 4 refills, and I would have gotten more refills, but they didn't have, and I didn't have them written down. I should just swatch all my Copic markers, so I should like write down which ones are running dry. I did remember these from memory, that I knew they would running low, at least I'm hoping. If not, when I get around to getting the marker, I'll have the refill. So I've got E13 Light Suntan, W2 Warm Grey, W4 Cool Grey, and then E51 Milky White. And they're all either skin tones or grey, because those are the things I use the most. So I'm really excited because each one of these refills can refill marker up to like, I think it's 6 times or something like that. So like it's super cool that I've got these refills. And then for the actual markers I got an extra colourless blender. And my friend was telling me off, she was telling me to get like the big bottle of colourless blender solution. That thing cost like $15 or something like that. I know it's not like expensive, but like I was also very concerned about how much my luggage weighed. So I really didn't know if I would have like the space or the weight limit to be able to bring everything back. So I decided to get an extra colourless blender marker instead of getting the solution, but that might change, I might regret it later. So first colour I got, because I realised I only had like one green that was a green, and it was like a very punchy green. I got this like desaturated YG61 Pale Moss. Next up I got this Pale Blue B32, cute pastel-y blue. W6 Warm Grey number 6, because the only warm grey I have is this one, Warm Grey number 2. Next up I got E34 Toast, which is skin tone-ish, but also could be just like wood or brown or something like that. And I know I don't have this one because I don't have all the markers that I do have written down, which I really should do. But I knew that I didn't have this one because I would remember if I had a marker named Toast. And then the last one I got is this yellow. It's Y32 Cashmere, because I also know that the only yellows I have are either super pale, they're basically transparent, or like vivid sunshine yellow. So I wanted a nice little warmer, more eggshell neutral yellow to have also either as a skin tone or just for like flexibility. So these are the 5 markers on top of the colourless blender and the 4 refills that I got at the Loft store in Shibuya. And then the other thing I got from Loft is this Staedtler mechanical pencil, and I got this because my friend in Japan that was hosting me so kindly, she has one of these. When I was snooping through her art supplies, I noticed it, and it's a lot like my trusty mechanical pencil, but the whole barrel of it is metal, so it feels heavier to it, and it's got like a nice grip that's similar. So if this one ever goes missing, or if this one ever goes missing, like I won't be without like my favorite kind of mechanical pencil, which I like the heavier mechanical pencils. I like the metal ones because they feel like sturdier and more like sure. And I got it in 0.5 millimeters because that's just the lead that I usually carry around. So, and then the last little bag of goodies is from this random little like office supply stores, like stationery stores that I found in Shimokitazawa. So Shimokitazawa is this area that has like a bunch of thrift stores and stuff like that. So we came across an art store and I basically went nuts. Basically. So to break this down bit by bit, I have more high-tech C's, and this is a red one that's also in 0.025, which is the same as the other ones that I got. So it's in 0.25 and it's a red, just to have a red. And then this one, it's a black, and I do already have blacks, but it's in 0.3, not 0.25. So to compare that difference, it's, yeah, it feels thicker, but it still feels like a high-tech C, so happy with that purchase. Then I got a whole bunch of different lead and graphite, or whatever you want to call it. They're all 0.5 millimeters. So I got the 0.5 in 2B, B, 4B, and 3B. After that, I got this brush pen thing because I was in Japan and I was like, I'm not gonna leave without getting like a brush pen. And it was like fairly cheap, and the friend I was with said that they were like really reliable. So it's actually like a really thin type of brush pen, but you do get quite a bit of, it's kind of stiff as well, but yeah, you get a lot of line weight variation out of that. Then I got another Uniball Signo, and this, if you've seen my Jazzy Art Box video, this looks a lot more like that Uniball. And it looked quite a bit different from the Uniballs I tried in the past, so that's why I decided to try to get it. And yeah, I think this is exactly the Uniball Signo that came in Jazz's Jazzy Art Box, so now I've got two. And then last up, I've got all these Posca pens, and I ended up, I think each one of these was either 200 or 300 yen. And they did come in sets, but the thing is that the sets that I had, either most of them didn't have this green and none of them had the gold and silver, so they all just had like the white, red, blue. I think they didn't even have the purple because it was just like a primary set, so that's why I decided to get the individuals instead. So let me just take a minute to unwrap these and then we'll see about swatching them. Alright, so that's all of them unwrapped, and that definitely did take longer than I expected, but I think I got the handle of it by the end of it. So as far as I know, to get these to work, like if you just open them, the tip is all white and stuff. So to get this to work, you're gonna have to like shake them, and then you're gonna have to like dab them into the paper a bunch for the ink to start flowing. Alright, so here is the silver, gold, light blue, the purple, and the green. That one came out a lot faster. It just like spit out a glob of paint after not much like stabbing. So these here are all the art supplies that I got myself in Japan. You might feel like this is a little bit excessive, but please do keep in mind that I was saving money for over a year before going to Japan, and also keep in mind that I view these as an investment, especially these Copics, which I think is the most expensive thing on this table. Yeah, basically Japan was amazing and I spent a lot of money, but I feel like it's an investment and I was preparing for that, so that's why I was able to do it. I do not think that you need any of these to be able to draw any sort of way. The only thing you realistically need is some form of paper and some form of pencil, or not even that. If you have a free drawing program and a drawing tablet or a mouse, like, your supplies does not correlate to your creativity or your ability to create. But it is nice to treat yourself sometimes, and I was being very good to my bank account for a long time to be able to do this. So I hope you enjoyed seeing me swatch out all these supplies that I got while I was in Japan. I'm very happy with all these supplies that I got. I chose each of them individually, knowing what they were doing, knowing what I could do with them, and not just willy-nilly. So yeah, I would like to thank you very much for watching. Leave a like, comment, watch another video on my channel to see me actually do some art and not just swatch and gush about art supplies. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next week.